Hospitality operators are warning Australian cafes are close to collapse, with upcoming changes to the minimum wage set to put more pressure on businesses already struggling to make ends meet. Joining us this afternoon on The Debrief is Emma Georgiadis from SAFM Breakfast in Adelaide and Josiah Sharla from 101.9 The Fox in Melbourne. Good afternoon to both of you. Em, how do we get this balance right? Because staff should be paid what they're actually owed, but we know so many small businesses right now cannot make ends meet because their overheads are so huge.
Yeah, absolutely, Tash. I mean, we've come a long way since I was earning $7 an hour at Baker's Delight when I was 14 years old. But I do think small businesses will really struggle with this one. They're not making much of a profit after paying wages and super, rent and bills. And I think what people will find is if they want to go out for a coffee on a public holiday, that their favourite cafe is probably either going to be shut or they're going to have to expect to pay a lot more because that crazy surcharge is going to be passed on to customers.
And Josiah, as Em just said, trying to get that balance right, because as customers, if we go out there and have to pay these huge surcharges, as customers, they're finding it tough as well, and then maybe they won't go out and support small businesses.
100%. I wish I had better news, but unfortunately it's going to just have a flow-on effect like you pointed out. Last year I was reading alone, 10%, it was the worst affected industry, 10% was shut, which is a really poor figure, and that's obviously going to go through the roof this year with what's happening as well. And prices like that on public holidays, yeah, like you said, the consumer's going to be paying so much more and the businesses having to pay their staff so much more as well. I think we're all in the wrong jobs, $78 an hour.
Yes, indeed. It's such a difficult balance to try and get it right. Moving on this afternoon, a proposal by teachers at a Queensland high school to work 4 days a week and also to take a look at their mental health or work a second job has been rejected by the Department of Education. And what are your thoughts on this? We know teachers do work incredibly hard, but is a 4-day working week going to work? Because as parents, do you want your children taught by a temp teacher?
Yeah, I think in theory a 4-day work week sounds amazing, but this is not it. I'm glad that teacher workload and burnout is being addressed, but I do not think that this is the solution. Are teachers expected to fit the 5 days of work into 4 days or to prep that 5th day for somebody else that's taking their class? I used to be a teacher for 10 years and I was working 12-hour days just to fit all of that work in to a 5-day week. I mean, teachers are only about 50% in the classroom. There's so much behind the scenes that people aren't seeing that's admin, you know, meetings, marking, planning, prep, co-curricular activities. So to suggest that teachers can try to fit all of that into 4 days, I think will just add to the pressure and to the stress. And also the suggestion that teachers could use that 5th day to take on a second job. Are they kidding?
They're completely burnt out. Emma, I agree with you, and I think all of us realised how extraordinary teachers were when we were trying to teach our children at home during our lockdown with COVID. Josiah, if we don't support our teachers, we will have a teaching crisis. We already know hundreds are fleeing the profession because, as Em said, so much of their time is now being taken up on admin and politics rather than teaching in the classroom.
Yeah, and Tash, like Emma, both my parents are school teachers, and you don't understand how much extra work there is to do. Like, we don't give them enough credit. Like Emma said, half the day is just at school, the rest is at home. My dad, I'd never seen someone have to work so hard, and you know, I didn't give my teachers much credit when I was at school, but they do so much. They're underpaid, so you can understand why they're crying out for 4-day working weeks. Is it the solution? Probably not. However, there needs to be some sort of compromise, whether it's way more money, a little bit less stress, less homework. I don't know what it is, but it's going to have a flow-on effect again with the kids, with the teachers, with everything in between. So yeah, teachers are overworked, underpaid, and it needs to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Finally, this afternoon, he may have been tipped for the role of 007 himself, but British actor Sir Idris Elba says producers on the search for an actor to play the next James Bond should not become, quote, woke, and the role should actually stay pure to what it is and escapism. Em, who do you think should be the next James Bond?
Oh, I would love to see an Aussie Bond, Tash, and I know Jacob Elordi's name has been thrown around. I think we should definitely give him a go because did you see him in Wuthering Heights? Oof.
He was, that's a great choice. Josiah, what are your thoughts on the next James Bond?
Well, they're throwing around Dua Lipa's husband. I should know his name, but they reckon he'd be great as well. Jacob Elordi, like Em said, he'd be a fantastic choice, and I have heard his name thrown around as well. But yeah, Idris Elba, he's made a good point. We're seeing that creep into Hollywood a bit more at the moment, and at least he's pointing it out. I don't mind it.
100%. We all need escapism at the moment. Have a beautiful day, Em and Josiah. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Tash.
Thanks, Tash.
Stay